Hi, I'm Priya Rao from the First Weekend Club. It's one of the coldest day of the year here, February in Toronto, but I'm cozying up with Ric Esther Bienstock, who is nominated for so many Canadian Screen Awards, but also, it's hard to keep track, but also she is being awarded the Gordon Sinclair Award for Broadcast Journalism. That's very exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You're already a winner before you
already,
even get there.
It's fantastic. I'm very humbled by that award and very proud.
And in some amazing company.
An incredible company. I mean, it goes back many years. Barbara Frum has won that award, Lloyd Robertson, the team at W5 won, a lot of Fifth Estate people. So I feel very humbled by it as a documentary maker and as an independent documentary maker, and very proud. And I think it actually, I mean, of course, of course I'm getting the award, but I think it speaks well to the fact that there's an opening up to the kind of general documentary community, that we are doing journalistic work as well, even though it's in a very different framework.
Right, because most of those previous recipients have actually worked in broadcast news journalism, but you are an independent documentarian.
That's right. That's right.
So that's very exciting.
Very exciting. I'm excited.
Yes. Now, your current film is Tales from the Organ Trade.
Yes.
You have said that in making this film, it really challenged your own moral and ethical beliefs. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, when the film that I made before this was about sex trafficking, and that was a very black and white issue, and the idea was just getting access to understand how that world works. And when we embarked on making Tales from the Organ Trade, it was a little bit more ambiguous, but nonetheless, it's characterized as rich, wealthy Westerners exploiting the impoverished people in developing countries. So if I went in with a bias, I would say that was the bias, that it was pretty horrific, and it was only after meeting all the players in this world, which are the desperate people who are on dialysis, who really are fighting for their lives, and seeing the desperation on the other side, the impoverished people who in many cases are lining up to sell their kidneys. Whether you think that's good or bad, they're lining up because they feel it's the only way to get a quick influx of cash, cash that they can earn, working 10 years. So suddenly the kind of really the whole film lives, I think, in the gray zone where there's a lot of moral ambiguity. So it didn't really make me question my beliefs, but it made me question my assumptions about this issue. And I think the film is about desperation, but it's also about poverty, not about wealth, because of course us, in developed countries, even if you're not a rich, wealthy Westerner, you can get your hands on a lot more money than someone who lives in India or the Philippines or Thailand. So it was just an interesting journey in that sense. And I was very open to just meeting all of the people who were involved, even, the surgeons and the traffickers and the brokers, and just trying to understand how they all came to be doing this and what drove them to do it, and that's what the film basically covers. And
you mentioned that at one point you were talking to a potential, I don't recall if it was a donor or a potential recipient, but that because of your cameras being there, you sort of threatened that deal happening. And how did that make you feel?
Well, that was actually, in a way, a turning point, because this was in the Philippines, you're right, and it was a young man who had a new baby, who was subsistence living, could barely make enough money every day to put rice on the table. Right. And he had contacted a broker. He was not approached. He approached a broker and said, I want to sell my kidney. And we were following this transaction. And as we got deeper and deeper in, I think the broker got a bit freaked out that our cameras were there, and she did a switch. So he was going to be selling his kidney, and she switched him out for somebody with the same blood type. And at that moment where the transaction was essentially canceled, instead of feeling like we saved his life and thank God, because you always have these ethical concerns when you are following transactions like this, I actually felt bad for him. I just looked and thought, oh my God, he just missed out on an opportunity of making money, so that he wanted to move to the country. He was living in an urban slum in Manila. And that's when I started questioning my own assumptions. And, you know, the crew felt the same way. And to this day, it was a turning point for all of us when we realized, and I think in a way we that stayed in the film. And the reason I left that in the film was because I think audiences look and go, oh wow, he really, you know, he could have maybe used the transplant if he was healthy and if he was properly to better his life. Having said that, I should say, the black market is not a good arena for this. So by definition, the black market is bad. It's not. I'm not, condoning the black market. People aren't tested properly. Right. They get ripped off regularly. If there's problems afterwards, they have no recourse, nowhere to turn. And so that's not an arena for it, but I'm talking about the act itself. Right. So, and that's a kind of weird place to be for a documentary maker, where really you're usually addressing human rights issues, trying to make things right. So it was a very initially uncomfortable feeling, and then in a way I just thought, well, I'm going to make the film about the film isn't about me, but the kind of ethical and morally ambiguous journey I took, I want to take viewers on that same journey.
Well, and that is a crazy journey you're going to go on if you watch this film, but it definitely a very important subject matter, as it's just increasing in popularity, I guess is the word you could use, worldwide, and it's not just a third world phenomenon. So where can people find this if they haven't seen it already?
Well, the film in Canada is not yet released has not been, I'm going to start again. Sure. The film in Canada, DVD sales are about to begin. It's about to be released on DVD, and we're working on digital sales right now. I think you can stream it on History Television, and if not, just stay tuned. We have a Facebook page, Facebook/Organ Trade, and follow us on Twitter, and we'll let you know as it gets rolled out.
On where you can find it. Congratulations on all your nominations. It's just very, very exciting time for you and for all the Canadian filmmakers who are nominated. So we wish you the best of luck. We'll be there and we'll be rooting for you.
Thank you very much. Pleasure. Thanks a lot.